Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I, Bancroft, will be giving you all another deck profile. Not just any deck profile, but my take on Android 17. Which, in the long story of it, really love the interactions of this deck and what it could do. So like always, before we get into it, hit those buttons, they're down below, they're there for a reason. Now let's get into it. So this is a new leader, so I'm going to kind of go over it really quickly. When this leader attacks, you pitch an Android card to draw 2 cards, which kind of helps the engine of this deck, because you want cards in your drop. The Awaken, there's 2 conditions, either have 4 or less life, or have a Unison in play with a specific cost of 2. If you have that route, you knock your life down to 6, and it's a hybrid, so you restand, draw 1. On the Awaken side, this leader gets even more impressive. No longer worry about discarding cards, but now you draw a card. But this leader gains 2,000 power for the battle for each card placed under your battle cards. So if you have 3 cards in the field with a combined total of 5 cards underneath those cards, this leader gets a 10,000 boost, which isn't bad at all. Activate Main allows you to place a Hellfighter 17 or Android 17 from your drop area under one of your Super 17s in your battle area. And then you activate Battle for a Spirit Boost 1. You choose one Super 17, you drop 3 cards from underneath it to the owner's drop areas, and then you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and Unison switch them to rest mode. So if you swing and your opponent's like, no negate, no blocker, and they have a Unison with blocker, use it. Get rid of that blocker ahead of time so that way you can go for game if it's that particular turn for you. Alright, so that's the leader. And because this leader does have an alternate Awakening, we're going to go over the Unisons first. Android 20 and Dr. Mew. So this is your Unison from set 14 that works great for this leader because auto once per turn if it's your turn and you activate an Evolve or Union skill, add 1 marker to this card. So it helps keep this card beefy. It does have a natural +1 to it. Then you give it another +1 off the Evolve or Union skills, and that which is okay if you didn't turn around and use the leader's Spirit Boost. Activate Battle, which is pretty nice. Now, if you use that Spirit Boost during your turn, because this is also auto once per turn, if it's your turn, when you remove a marker from this card using Spirit Boost, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Keep in mind, those skills are during your turn only. So, but killing a barrier card is so amazing. Yellow doesn't have a lot of power for doing that, and just giving that ability is really nice. Now, +1 activate main, you draw 1 card, discard 1 card. Like I said earlier, discarding helps this engine. -2, you get added up to 1 mono yellow battle card with an energy cost of 5 or less, and the Evolve skill from your drop area to your hand, so it helps you recover part of the chain towards the end. Now speaking of the chain and how you add extra markers to this Unison, you gotta start off with the 1-drops, which you have Hellfighter 17, he is the blocker, and then you got Android 17, which is the barrier. So if you have to play this card to protect yourself for a turn, you can. If not, you're using the Absorb Unison, which they both have the exact same Absorb Unison, they just choose each other instead. So for 17, you choose a Hellfighter 17 in your hand or drop area, and Hellfighter chooses this Android 17 from your hand or drop area. And then you get to put it underneath them, and then you play a 3-drop on top, and that 3-drop could be from your deck or drop area as well. So let's go ahead and say that this is on my field, and I'm taking the Hellfighter. Boom, Absorb. We also play 3 of the 3-drop. The reason why I chose to do 3 on this one is because you really only need to see it 1 time, and from that point on, you're good. Now, auto, when you play this card using Union, you draw 1 card, which is never a bad thing. This card does have an activate main, which I love to do on turn 1. So you pitch this card, and then you choose another Android card in your hand, and you discard both of those 2 cards. Then you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and you get to add up to 2 yellow Android cards of energy cost 5 or less among them, and add it to your hand. Then you shuffle your deck afterwards. So typically what you do here is that you pitch one of these Android 17s or one of the Hellfighters and himself to your drop. That way, from that point on, those 2 cards are in your drop, which will give access to your overall chain. Now for 1 energy, you can evolve the 3-drop into a 5-drop, which has deflect. Problem is it no longer has barrier, so that's where it gets a little bit unfortunate. So we do play 4 of these, so you want to see 5-drops, you want to see 8-drops. Those cards are harder to recur. Now, like I said, you can -2 in Unison to recur this 5-drop, but it does have dual attack, and if you pay the 1 energy to EX Evolve it, if your leader card Super 17, if your leader is Super 17, mono yellow Super 17 card of energy cost 3, that's the evolved target. So boom, only 1 in the deck, only 1 to my knowledge. Auto, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less in rest mode, place it underneath this card, then you draw one additional card. So it kind of replaces itself, which is pretty nice. You're getting a card off your opponent's field, and you're giving yourself an additional boost for your leader as well. Secondary auto, when this card is KO'd by an opponent's skill, play up to one mono yellow Super 17 card with energy cost 3 from your deck. So if he is killed, you just put that back to the board and gives you another target for your next 5-drop. That's why we want to play 4 of these. We want to see these cards as much as possible. Now, if it's your turn 4, or if your opponent's somehow giving you extra energy, which some decks can do that, but you have to have 4 energy for this effect. But for 2 yellow energy, you play the Super 17, the 8-drop, which also has Deflect and Triple Strike. This card is also considered a boss monster, in my opinion. So, it has no on-play effects, but you can activate main, place 3 cards under this card to the owner's drop areas, switch this card and up to one of your Super 17 leaders to active mode, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, place it under this card. This card gains power equal to the energy cost of that card. So if it's an 8-cost card, then you gain 8,000 battle power for this card. And that, of course, is for the turn. Now, you swing Triple Strike, activate main, resend your leader, resend this. Your leader still gets to draw off its secondary attack because that is not a once per turn auto. Keep that in mind. You still get the boost, you still get the draw, and then you can swing another Triple Strike. That's why it's considered a boss monster. Your opponents have to do a lot to stop this. Now, granted, if you're playing against green or yellow, they could Nimbus, they could Dormant. It happens. If you're playing against a deck that has Topo, because every deck now has a Topo card. Look out for that. And just, in my opinion, this deck can get a good enough hand to survive against a Topo attack. But just kind of choose when you want to activate that effect. Alright, so that's the chain. Move that aside. I play 2 Dr. Mew, Return from the Beyond. This card could be a 3 of, but I feel like the deck draws enough, it cycles enough cards, you're able to see what you need to see, which is fine. But what this card allows you to do is, for 1 energy, you can play up to 1 yellow 17 Hellfighter with an energy cost of 1 from your deck or dropper, then you shuffle your deck and you look through it. So keep in mind that could look for your target for starting the Unison, which is pretty nice. It can also play the next card, which is a Searcher. Hellfighter 17. Auto, when you play this card, look up top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 mono yellow android card with energy cost of 5 or less, or a mono yellow Unison card with specific cost of 2, and add it to your hand. So it helps you find Unisons, helps you find anything for the chain as well. So overall, great card. Never swing with this card. You want to keep it active, so it's harder for your opponents to hit it. Now, granted, if they neg it, that's fine. But it just helps you every turn. You can pay that 1 energy to recycle the cards from your drop area, or even to thin your deck out is always a great thing to do. Another Android 17 card to play. It's a 1-of, but it's the Negate, which you can use Spirit Boost 2 instead of paying the energy costs. So if you were to tap out, it's just an additional Negate that you can play. It is searchable by, the Super 17 3-drops, activate main, searchable by this effect, so you can find it, get it into your hand, which is pretty nice. And most decks don't have a leader that can restand and attack again. But for those matchups, it is pretty nice. And if we played more of if we played best of 3 at our locals, I'd probably have a second one in a sideboard just in case I came across those matchups, because you want to see this card during those matchups where a leader can restand, like SS4 Vegeta, Mecha Kabora, and yada yada. Oh, even Super 17 can restand. 2 more 17s that can be searchable are the super combos. It is just a draw 1 if your life is 4 or less. That's it. But it works as a great target once it's in your drop to put underneath your Unison target. So, actually, sorry, we'll not do that. Because it does specify, if I'm correct, choose 1 into 17 with your hand or drop area on this card. No, it does not specify. I thought it did for a second. It's been a long day. So those are 2 of my super combos. The other 2 I play in case I'm not seeing what I need and I just want to thin the deck out. It's a good green-yellow super combo that just takes a 4-drop from your deck and places it in your drop area. And because I'm playing a green-yellow super combo, I'm playing an Android leader, I decided to take a twist on this deck. Instead of going the mono-yellow variant, I went green-yellow. So this is the interesting Android 13. It is a rival for yellow. If you have 3 or more Android cards in your drop area, you negate Energy Exhaust, which typically on turn 2, I can have that happen if I want to. Typically it's my turn 3 charge though. Then, let's see here. This costs nothing to combo with, so it's another kind of free multicolor card to combo with for other arrival targets. And as long as your leader's, I think it's yellow or Android, which is pretty cool. If it's on the battle area, you could activate battle, choose one of your green or yellow Android cards in your combo area, and it gets additional 5,000 combo power for the battle. As it came up, this is typically a combo piece for other cards, or it's my energy. The arrival targets for those 6 cards are 3 of the Android 13 from Evolution Booster, or Booster Evolution Battle, is that what it was?
Yeah, Battle Evolution.
Yeah. And it is a green double strike unique, but truth be told, if you play this card, you don't really want to attack it because then it becomes a target for your opponent to swing at. At the start of your opponent's turn, they choose 2 of their battle cards and KO them. So it helps thin their deck out. Their field out, which is pretty nice. You can, for 1 energy, send this card from your drop area to your warp, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, energy cost 3 or less, and KO it. That's not a bad effect if you happen to get this into your drop. You can get rid of a potential problem card. But outside that, you want to get this on the board. You want to play it. If you play against a blue deck, they could counterplay it. Then that kind of burns their counterplay for your chain. And you can go around and do your chain there, and it's safe to go to the 3-drop. Or if you have a green deck tries to counterplay it, they can't. If you have the 3-drop Super 17, they can't choose the barriers. They have to choose this card, and that burns their counterplay once again on that. So it helps burn counterplays sometimes too. And then for a tech option, Krillin and Android 18. Both these are great cards, but this one right here allows me to choose 1 keyword skill in my opponent's battle area in rest mode and negate a skill for duration of turn. So if my opponent swing at me with a triple strike, a double strike, I can just go, okay, cool, arrival, play the auto triggers, here the double strike, and I'm good to go. So it's kind of like a backup to my final flash. And keep in mind these few cards actually. Let me just kind of one of real quick. Boom, boom. All these cards are actually searchable in this deck because of the 3-drops effect. Does not specify a mono yellow. So keep in mind that this effect is search the top 7 cards of your deck for 2 yellow Android cards with energy cost of 5 or less. So all these are searchable with this 3-drops activate main. They're not searchable with the Android 17 Hellfighter that searches your top 5 cards because that does specify mono yellow. So keep that in mind. Going to some of the extras. To Awaken and Attack, it's like Champa Double Strike, which is pretty cool, but you can do it for free. So permanent, you can activate Battle this skill by from your hand by placing 1 card under one of your battle cards here on its drop area. Then the activate battle itself, it is a limit once you can't do this like on multiple cards during your turn. But you choose up to one of your if your leader card's Android 17, choose up to one of your leader or battle cards, and it gets 2,000 power boost for the battle for each card under your battle cards. And if you have 3 or more cards under your battle cards, the card also gains double strike. Keep in mind the leader itself gets a boost as well. So I had one of my matches where I swung with the leader. There were 4 cards under my card, so the leader got plus 8,000. Made him 23. I turned around and used Awaken Attack. Gave the leader additional 6,000 because I pitched one of those cards forward to make it free to play. And now my leader was a 29 double strike, and I didn't have to combo anything for that effect. That's pretty cool chain. Attack option. I play 1 Mecha Frieza. There's enough extra cards that I get into my drop or I end up charging. So it's 1 energy most of the time. And it pretty much, it's like a Nimbus minus, because if your opponent wants to swing, they have to switch one of their active cards. Well, sorry, if they want to swing with a non-Unison card, they have to switch one of their active cards into rest mode. That could be anything. It could be energy, battle cards, whatever you want. Now, if they have a wide board, it's less effective. But it still works in that instance. And then it becomes a 20k battle card. Or sorry, 15k battle card for you swing on your turn. So, I want to play that as a 1-of. Speaking of 1-ofs, we also play Final Flash as a 1-of. Like I said, I play 2 of the Krillin 18s. They have the auto on play. But trying to make deck space for this particular deck, going on to 1 of these isn't bad because I do thin the deck out enough. I do draw enough. 3 Flying Nimbus, it's still one of the best yellow negates. I mean, in most cases, Flying Nimbus makes your opponent only attack 4 times per turn. If they know how to play against a yellow deck, they swing a battle card first, you negate, then they summon a battle card, Unison, and a leader card to swing with. 3 Power to Super Saiyan. It's a multifunctional card. Either it's a negate or activate battle if your leader card is mono yellow. Draw 1 card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, Unison, switch them to rest mode, which is pretty cool. So it's a draw, taps the card. As a one-of, Watchman Strike, it's a negate that can't be negated. So it can come in handy. I've had to use it once, and luckily my opponent didn't have anything to go up against it anyways, but better be safe than sorry. Additional boss monsters outside of the A-drop. Play 1 of the Son Goku. Deflect, Double Strike. When this card is played, you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode. You K them. Once again, it's another way of getting rid of particular battle cards on my opponent's field. It is an activate main for 3 energy. And if you have 4 more energy and a yellow Unison in play, you can play this card from your hand. So it reduces its cost by 3, which is pretty cool. Typically, if I'm playing one of these on turn 4, it just depends what the matchup is. I can do a double strike that blanks my opponent's cards, or I could play a triple strike that could restand and swing again. The activate main is the Spirit Boost for 2. If your leader card is mono yellow, this card gains dual attack for the turn, and then your opponents can't activate skills on battle cards that are 7 or less from any area when this card's in battle. So as long as you swing this card, they can't like topo, they can't use a blocker. So I mean, it just depends what you're playing up against. Just know your plays. Last but not least, I can't play Super 17 because it requires all mono yellow energy. So what's the next best thing? Sell Xeno. And looking at this deck, some people kind of might be like, how does that work out? Well, both these are 8 drops. And if I swing with either one of these, I could do a nice little combo wombo, as some people would phrase it, and then a rival one of these 4 drops. There you go. That makes Cell X. That being said, that is my profile. Hope you all enjoy. Keep in mind, there's buttons everywhere, even on the screen right now. And yeah, know your cards, read your plays, and fluff out.